So to complete your final comic strip, you're going to be using two applications. One of the applications is called Halftone. The other is called PicStitch. Now each member of your team will use Halftone to create their comic book cell. So what this will generate is one cell of your comic. Each member of the group will send their comic cell to one member of the group who will then place those cells into PicStitch. All right, so we're going to begin by looking at Halftone. So on your iPad, locate Halftone. It's this icon right here in the center. And when I tap it, it should open up and ask me to choose a photo or take a photo. Now I would recommend that you go through in advance and stage all of your photos and take them in advance and have them on your iPad. Remember, each person should probably take the picture on their own iPad, the one that they'll be using for their cell. So I'm going to tap Choose Photo, and it's going to open up my camera roll. Just click on Camera Roll, and I'm going to scroll down until I find the photo that I want to use. Here's my poor sad professor. All right, when I first bring the photo in, I have a few options to make some minor editing changes. I can enhance, I can add effects, I can crop it, etc. I'm not going to do any of these for right now, but feel free to crop it or add any effects or take away any blemishes that you want. I'm just going to go ahead and click Done in the upper right-hand corner, and it will load my picture. So once my picture is loaded, it comes in with this sort of default look, and it goes ahead and it gives it the pixelation to make it look like a comic strip. That can be changed in this upper left-hand corner where you can choose your dot size. So if you want it to be smaller or if you want the dots to be larger, you can change their size. If I scroll up slightly, I can also change the strength and the gain. All right. And then we'll just tap that gear to close it, and it'll make the changes for us. There we go. Now there's a few other things that I can do to sort of customize this and make this my own. The very first icon that you see, actually if you're looking at the bottom, it's the second from the left. This piece of paper icon, if I choose it, it allows me to choose the sort of wash for my paper. Now you don't all have to choose the same wash, but it kind of does make it have a cohesive look. But it's up to you and your creativity as to how you want to do this. So I've chosen this sort of wrinkled wash here. Let's see how that looks. And if I like it, then I can just tap the icon again to close it. The third icon over from the left allows me to choose my layout. So you'll see that this one starts up in the upper left with October 27th, and then down at the bottom it has an area for text as well. So if I tap this, you can sort of see how each of these works. If I don't want that text at the bottom, I can choose the second one. If I don't want any text at all, I can choose the second to last. And choosing the very last one removes the border and everything else. So for what I'm liking, I think I'm going to choose this one right here. And then again, just tap the icon again to make that go away. So how do you change the text that's in these little headers? All you need to do is tap on the header once, and it opens up a text box. I can then close this out and say and done. I can tap it again and change the color so it'll have like a green background or an orange background, whichever I prefer. And I can do the same for the bottom. Again, we'll delete all of it and just type in our text. And done. All right. The next icon over, this little plus with the thought bubble, is actually how you can put text in. So you'll see as soon as I tap it, this comes up. It says wow. And you'll notice the little orange circle that's sort of blinking every now and then when I move it at the bottom. In order to make this appear like Zach is saying it, I just grab that little circle with my finger and drag it over to him. To edit the thought bubble, I just tap on it and the text comes up. What am I to do? Also, while I'm in here, you'll notice here, this strip here allows me to choose different thought bubble shapes. So if he's thinking it, I can give him this one. If I like round better, I can give him this one. Whichever one you want to do, you just tap on it and it gives that, it makes it that shape. If you have more than one thought bubble or voice bubble, pressing to front will determine which one goes in front of others. So it gives you that sort of stacked lay look. And again, all I have to do is click it and move it around. So I'm just pressing on it with my finger, dragging it around the screen to change it. Now for both both the header and footer and the voice bubble text, if you look at the very last icon to the right, the letter A, if I tap this, this allows me to choose the font that displays in all of those areas. It also allows me to determine the size. So if I have a lot of text in my thought bubble, I may not want it to be super large. In this case, it's not a big deal, but you can change it just by moving it around. Again, to make a cohesive comic, I would get together as a team and determine which font you're going to use. The font size is not that important, but the font that you choose is pretty important. All right, and again, just tap that at the bottom to get rid of it. Now, the last thing you have available to you is this little stamp icon. It's the second from the right, and when I tap it, it puts like a wow stamp on there, something that's sort of an expletive, I guess. If I tap on it just once, you'll see that I have other stamps that I can use. It's going to always use the last one that you selected. So if you tapped this stamp and something different came up, don't worry about it. So in this case, I'm going to choose ARG. Again, right below it, you'll see that I have, I can change its color to blue-green, green, blue, or orange. You have that same to front right here, and all the way to the right, and then straighten will just take out any rotation that you've had. And then I'm just going to click into the body of this comic to make that go away. So I tap on the stamp itself to make this show up, and then just tap anywhere else in the picture to make it go away. Now if I place my finger directly on the stamp, like press and hold instead of just tapping, I can move it around. I can rotate it by pressing it and moving towards I press in the center and go and move it, it moves it around. If I press towards one of the ends, the left or the right, I can move it up and down, or I could stretch it out, or I can smush it in. So again, to do this, the center, pressing and holding in the center allows me to move it around on the page. Pressing and holding at the end allows me to make it larger or smaller. It also allows me to rotate it. So center to move, one of the ends to expand, shrink, or rotate. All right, so basically I'm finished. If you wanted to delete any of these items, again, you would just tap it and you'll have this delete button right here that gets rid of it. Same with your wow. I tap my voice bubble and you have a delete right here in the center of your keyboard. All right, so you've done all of your work. This is your fabulous comic cell and you're ready to send it on to your teammate. All you'll need to do is in the upper right hand corner you'll see your send to icon. You should be familiar with this by now. So I'm going to tap on it, and what I would recommend you do is save this to your album. What that's going to do is it's going to save a copy of it into your camera roll so that in case the email doesn't work right the first time, you've got a copy of it that you can email later. So I'm going to tap Save to Album. We'll say maybe later there. Now, you also are going to need to send this to whoever has become sort of the scribe for your group, the one that's going to put this comic together. So you can either do it from here and say Send to Mail. It should open up your email and put this picture in the body, and then you just need to type in who you're sending this to. Click the Send button. Delete this draft for right now. Or I'm going to click on my Home button now to leave here. Or you can tap on your Photos icon, your camera roll down here in your dock. We'll go out to our photos, select the photo that you just saved, and you can email it from here as well. So email photo.